So here was the first time when I was diagnosing the vehicle. I'm going to show you how to access this here if you have the MS906BT and working on a Nissan Altima. But we do have live misfire data. But what happened, it was originally on 3 and 4. And it did have a history stored here of a misfire, 3 and 4. But I had to go back and clear the code to reset this misfire count here that was live. It was a real-time misfire count. Did that and went back into the screen, revved the engine up, and this is what I got. It would run fine for like a couple seconds, and you'll hear that, you'll feel that faint misfire. All right, clear the code, retest, same issue. Swap the coils, problem swap. And that's where they're currently at now, 1 and 2. And this is what I got here. So that was a very quick, simple diagnosis with the MS906BT. Let me show you how to access that information if you have an MS906BT. And we're going to go, so we're in the engine. So we're going to go to control unit. I'm pretty sure you saw everything. Go to engine. These are the various modules here that are present. Mainly the engine transmissions. Did see some SRS, supplemental restraint, and ABS. So once this load up, we're going to go to special features, special functions right here. And here we'll have various abilities. We can fuel pressure release. I guess if we can just open and close injectors, self-learn count with the crank, target ignition timing. We should have some idle abilities, evap system close if you want to do an evap leak test, timing, target timing adjustment, you know. So we got various things here. We also have a common idle relearn we could do, target idle RPM adjustment. We have various things we can do with this scan tool here. But we also have past misfire count, and then we do have current misfire. So here's the past. This is what it recorded. And here's our real-time misfire count. This is what is still present. Again, when you want to clear those out, it's not going to reset once you shut the car down and start back up. This ain't no Chevy. So we're going to go back, and I'm going to show you it's going to clear all populated areas, and we have nothing filled there. So, but that's how we access that. I'm not going to go into it. It wasn't in the live data, so I think that's irrelevant right now, again, because this car is diagnosed. Just that simple. Now, the problem with this car is, like Fords, you will not get a isolated misfire code like a P0301, P0302, etc. You'll just get a P0300 with random multiple misfires. Oh gosh, sorry, it's cold out here. So you would just get random multiple misfire codes. So you have to have either an oscilloscope, some other method of accessing some type of visual abilities to see what's misfiring. Aperture ratio sensors may help, but you know, you can look at them, assuming you can get it to misfire and catch it at the right time, like I did on my older videos. But I didn't utilize that resource. That's usually my last option, especially if I can't get if I don't want to go through the extent of putting a oscilloscope to the signaling wires. So let's go back. So I think we're done with that portion. I think it's time just to go ahead and hook everything up. But before I do, I'm going to show you what I experienced while I got everything disconnected, and I'm gonna let it run. You'll see that it misfires when the RPM is risen. So you know what, it might be I don't know if you might feel it, so it might be a wise idea to look at that real-time misfire count here. So let's do that. That'll be the smartest move here to make. And I guess the downside is I can't pull up any additional information, so I can't show you RPM and misfire simultaneously. That's gonna be a downfall, but we'll see. that is some misfires we're experiencing now, but unfortunately it's not pulling it up. We might have to wait for it to populate. It might have a very short-term misfire counter for a time frame. There we go. So I didn't have to do anything and it started misfiring. So this is one of those rare cases. So again, let me cut the car off. 45 degrees in here. This first startup. So that's why we got what we got. The startup was cold. The combustion chambers were cold. It's leaner and it's harder for that spark to arc. That's why we got what we got. We got a misfire at low RPM. That's if you're able to catch it then. Again, this vehicle, when it's warm, would run fine at idle, but will misfire up top. But anyway, let's go back and we're gonna go ahead and hook up the oscilloscope on the 12 volt side, and I'm gonna hook up the signaling side also. How do you know which one's 12 volt on this vehicle? I have the key on, engine off. Let me think. I think it'll probably be easier if I grab this one. So you have 3 wires. Oh gosh, I didn't see that. That ain't no good right there. I'm not sure what happened with the coils before this vehicle had new coils. That's my first time seeing it. I should have did a better visual inspection of these coil boots here. That doesn't mean I should replace this. I mean, it's fine. Let's see if that'll... I'm gonna use a... Yeah, it's fine. It's not bad. Maybe it's like a little bit of oil I got in there. The contact points are good, so it's a possibility something happened with the old coil. I don't know, but the contact surfaces are real good. What we're gonna do, I have my test light here. I'm gonna show you a real easy way of testing for ground, positive, and signal. So how this works is this coil is internally controlled. So like on the Ford, you will have a 2-pin. This is a 3-pin. You have a constant 12 volt ground, 12 volt. You have a constant ground, and what only changes is that signal side, which is basically a transistor inside this coil, which allow rapidly switching signals. Just the basics. So I'm gonna put my, you can use a test meter to find out which one's 12 volts and ground, but I like to use a test light simply because, you know, you don't want to get any bias voltage and mess something up, especially when that signaling side is typically going to be a low voltage reference, meaning that it's like ground, similar to it. So I'm on ground right now with my alligator clamp. It's on the ground side on the battery. You know, it'll be easier. Let me ground it right here. So we're ground right here on the cylinder head. We're going to look for 12 volts. And 12 volts is typically going to be a red color. Again, this is 3-wire. Here's my 12 volts. All the other ones don't illuminate. We're connecting the circuit, we're shorting this light out, and it's producing 12 volts, and it's grounding right here. Ground at 12 volts. So here we are, we have our 12 volt side. We're going to check for ground, so we're going to swap this on over to battery positive and check for a good ground. There's our ground here in the center. Let's check the other one. It's illuminating really faint. Again, the signaling side is going to be a low voltage reference, which is going to display that there's voltage there, but it's a resisting circuit because it's something switching inside the computer. And I ain't make this stuff, but you know, this is brighter. Just like if I was to ground it here on the head, it's going to be brighter. So we got 12 volts, ground, signal. 12 volts, ground, signal. 12 volts on the far right, ground in the middle, signal on the far left. Should be the same for all the other ones. But what we're going to do to look at the signal, we're going to connect our oscilloscope. We're going to connect the oscilloscope to the 12-volt side, and we should be able to see the event occur. And we're going to connect to the signal side so we can look at it. Should be a square wave that goes inside this coil here, not a AC wave signal. So we're going to hook up on the, I want to hook up on the bad one first, because I wouldn't mind showing you the signal, but I'll have to use 3 channels. I don't want to do all that. I might have to pull out a 3rd channel. Yeah, we'll get another channel. That way we can look at everything happening. Oh shit. What'd I do? I did something. So I want to explain what had happened. A video I did a long time ago about these BNC connectors for the Altima. They short out, and just like that guy who hit my comment section up and told me that you can't damage the computer or anything as a result of them shorting out because it's just like a test meter. This is what I was explaining to him. So right now it's shorted out simply because these BNC connectors are crap from Altima, and I have to go in here and repair the ground inside of here because the insulator grounds out your lead. So I'm going to go ahead and repair this to prevent that from happening. But what had happened, I blew my ignition switch fuse here. I'm going to get this repaired. Luckily, that's the only thing I blew, nothing else. So let's get that. I think I got some spare fuses right here. So yeah, that shut up. Oh shit. I thought it did. And I should have now, I didn't have any communication with my computer. Now I should. Now I'm going to clear all the codes because it would not communicate with the computer at all. But that answered your question there about when your test leads short out, that he said you can't damage anything, and this is that case I was referring to, and I have mentioned that in my other videos. So let me see if there's any codes present. Okay, there's no fault codes present. I'm pretty sure I got other codes present in the module here, but the ignition switch is working now. I didn't have 12 volts on my coil, which the power I was checking. Now I have that restored. So let's continue with the repair. So this noise reduction wire right there, I'll just peel that back and everything will be fixed fine. Well, I guess it's better me than you, because I guess the shit kind of just hit the fan, but at the same time it makes sense now that cylinder 3 is screwy. And, based on what I've experienced, I think I have a reason why this cylinder has a hard miss now. But what we got here is the signaling for the coil, and here on the red trace I'm hooked up on number 1, and the blue down here is 3, which is the one that's failing, or has failed. So we got 1, 3, 4, 2, and it starts over 1, 3, 4, 2. So what's going on here? The signal side is just fucked up, and there's no way I could have screwed this up with my test lead shorting out, because I mean this is just a literally like 5-volt source, low amperage. I mean, I use a test light to check the circuit, and even after that, even if I didn't pierce it with the grounded side, I actually pierced the 12-volt side, which shorted out and blew the fuse. The thing is, it just blew the fuse, and I'm just a little perturbed right now, because I'm like, there's no way the ground could go inside the coil from shorting out a 12-volt source and go through a resistor circuit and ground out, just miraculously damage the computer system. There's just no way. That's just completely impossible. But it makes sense why we got that blackened area there. And let's take another look at that. See if we can zoom in on that dark spot on the plug here. So it makes sense. Let me see here if it'll. Right, so I have my negative side grounded, and I'm going to check the resistance value, which is, there's nothing displaying. All right, so we got. Okay, so we got low ohms there. Then I'm just going to check the signaling side of a known good one, see what I have. We have 120 kilo ohms. Let's check the bad one here. It should be pretty low. Yeah, we got 11 ohms on that one. So, yeah, this is the conclusion I got. I mean, I understand why it was very difficult for them to find that misfire. And what was going to happen, I was going to put new coils in there, remedy it, only for it to come back eventually with the same issue. So, that was a lagging element on my part, learning experience also. It was no fault of the Altil, despite it shorting out and having some issues. So the car is simply going to need a computer, because that control signal comes directly from the PCM and back out here. So it's not grounded out totally to the point where there's low ohms. Now what I could do simply is take the computer, separate the connector from the computer, find the pinouts for this control circuit here, and do a ohm value and make sure all of them are in the same range. That's what I could do, or I can simply disconnect the computer that controls this circuit here and see if it's pulling down steel or have any type of value, and that'll answer that it's shorted from here. All right, so we're hooked up on the signal wire for the number 4, and I got the number 3 exposed, so this is going to be my reference for a good working source, and 3 is defective. So I'm going to do a resistance value test again. Here's my current resistance value. We're at the PCM, which is right beside the battery. I don't know if you notice all the corrosion, but I don't think they have anything. I don't know. May have something to do with it. So currently we got the key is off. Nothing's on. So currently we have 123.3 kilo ohms of resistance value. And I'm going to move it on over to the defective one. And we have now 12 ohms, which is very low. So I'm going to pull this out. All right, this answers that it's not shorted out, because it's not pulling the ground still. I'm going to hook it up to the working one, and that is open also. I'm going to use 2 test lights. I got one here, which is going to go to battery positive. To my alligator clamp here. So it'll look like this. I have my alligator clip on battery positive, and there's my test light going to the wire that I'm looking for, and then I'm going to take my other test light here, go to ground. So theoretically, when I find the appropriate one, it should illuminate. So it's not going to be bright, but it's safe. I know it's a dark colored wire. This is a short, long-winded way of finding where you need to go. Alright, so it lit up. So this is my wire. Here. Little nick right there. That's that. Did I go to the right one? Shit, where did I go? Alright, the voltage is a little slow because the wires have resistors in there. Let me put a mark right there. So that's one. I'm going to go to the other one. Do the same for that one. There we go. There's my other one there. Make sure this is the bad one by double marking that one. Now what I'm going to do a resistance test from here to the wire there. So we're going to connect our multimeter that's back hooked up to the alligator clamp there. And then we're going to do a resistance value test from there to there, from here to there. So it should be very low ohms. Okay, so I'm on the functioning one, and we have, so this is the working one. We have 3 ohms. Move to the defective one. Should also have 3 ohms. This is the double mark one here. 5 ohms. Hold on. Wait a minute. 5 ohms. Make sure it's got a good connection. It's not that much. Okay, so we're back at 3. So I just didn't have it connected good. So they're making the same, producing the same value. So what I'm gonna do now, go to the computer to ground, and then if it matches the value that I had when it was defective, going to the wire out directly to the coil, then the computer shot. And we marked the pin here. So we need to go down. It goes in there like this. So we need to go that one there. So it's third one down. 1, 2, 3. Take this. There's our value, 11 ohms. This computer's just shot the driver for that coil. Let's find a computer. All right, several hours later, I went to the junkyard. I had some other things I had to work on, but I wound up getting 2 computers. This is one of them, and the other one is in there now. Very simple replacement. Just pull the battery out and 2 10mm fasteners holding that in there. What are you like right here and catty corner to it. Here's the old one. I got one out of a 07 and an 09, I want to say. But the other one I got is black. Hopefully there's nothing different like Chevys and you have to program it. Hopefully. We'll see what happens. I'm going to go, I got the computer pulled up inside the ECM, and I'm going to pull any codes, clear them, and address the comebacks, and we'll see if we can put the VIN number in this new computer and match that up. Alright, we're in the PCM. I'm going to go ahead and clear those codes. Alright, we'll go to do a complete scan. Just clear everything in there. Alright, got a complete scan done. I'm just going to... Alright, just for shits and giggles, I'm going to see what will happen if I start it up. Nothing. Alright, let's see what happens. Let's see what codes are in there. I think it's at P0161. Yep. Alright, let's see if I can do anything with the security. We're gonna get on programming this key. Key is here. It's not working. So we're gonna get this program really quick. Put the key in the slot down here. And I'm gonna cut the car on. Cut it off. Okay, I'm gonna go to next and I'm gonna cut the car back on. Hold on, wait. Okay, so I'm gonna cut the car on. Continue. Cut the car off. Alright, so the car's off. I can go to next. Yes. Alright. Let's see. I got the key inserted without the pressing the brake pedal. Press push button ignition switch to turn ignition switch to the on position. Ignition switch changes from off to on. After performing this operation, the system automatically proceeds to initialize ECU. Okay, I cut the switch on. Alright, remove insert intelligent key from the slot. So I'm going to take this key back out. At this moment, the system enters into a key registration mode. Insert unregistered key into the key slot and press push button ignition switch once. Ignition switch changes from off to on. And the check that security indicator blinks 5 times. So let's put the key back in there. If I can find the hole. There we go. That is not the hole. Alright, there's my theft light right there flashing. Okay. Remove intelligent key from slot. Wait 3 seconds or more. Ignition switch changing from on to off, which it did. So it's off now. Wait 3 more seconds and I should be able to, okay. So I can do more keys right now, but now this should work. So I'm gonna put this key back in here. Well, let me exit out of here. So I'm gonna put this key back in there. It should work. Alright, so there's no security light. That works fine. So I'm going to take the key out and I should be able to push the button now and it works. So yeah, it's working. Cool. So let's start it up. This battery's shot. Cool. She's running good now. Let's clear this out. Let's go back to no. Control unit, engine. So we're kind of back in the same boat, so we're going to go ahead and put some coils in there and fix this issue. Alright, so I got my brand new coils in here now, and we are not experiencing the same issue. So I'm going to hold the gas pedal. Alright, I just got back off my test drive here, and I just want to do a quick resistance test before I say this car is done. I think we got this. I don't wonder if that'll show up very well. There we go. Get that glare off. So I'm just going to check the signaling side, because that one was shorting out, causing the coil to burn out. And I'm going to have to replace the coil, one of the new ones, because I did put that in place of one of these coils, and it wound up like having a little bit of issue when I was looking at some data. But I'm going to replace that under warranty, and they'll be perfectly fine. The car ran great on the test drive. But let's check out the resistance value. We got 416 k ohms, and we're going to check the signaling side on number 416. So it's consistent here. And I remember the ohms being a little different on the other computer, but I'm going to put a note in there when I get this video edited. But so there shouldn't be having more problems. You know, this car has an infamous wheel bearing issue. So we're going to place that number 1. Gosh, I'm not going to sit there and talk about like shit happens, but damn it, shit happens. I don't, like I said, it's not anything I've done. I mean, that was an ongoing issue that was overlooked, and unfortunately, it happened under my watch, and it started having more consistent miss. But that was the strangest thing. A wire, my lead shorted out and blew a fusible link, and then next thing you know, the computer shorted out for the signaling side for this coil. Strange. I'm not going to ask any questions, but obviously that computer was in the midst of failing, and there's just no way a fusible link from here that supplies power to this unit will cause internal shortage to a signaling side going to the computer, unless that computer was just failing. That's just impossible. Impossible. I mean, there's resistors in here. I mean, it's just a transistor. Crazy, but it's fixed. It's working. We were able to program the key with the MS906BT on this 2008. Very useful. So, man, I'm done for the day. But hit that link, subscribe to the channel, stay informed, have that reassurance of my work. See you on the next one.